Hello and thanks for joining us this Friday on Spectrum News 1. I'm Imani Payne. Today we continue following the latest from Minneapolis, where 2 children were killed in a school shooting this week. How Ohio is aiding in the grief process. Plus, as we deal with yet another mass shooting, seeking therapy can help, but which type? We go in depth into whether artificial intelligence can help your mental health. And the nice weather we've been seeing will continue into the holiday weekend. What you can expect in your area and your weather on the One's forecast that's just ahead. School safety in the spotlight today following that deadly shooting in Minnesota and an incident in Elyria that forced a lockdown yesterday. Westwood Elementary placed on lockdown after a parent called in a concern about this man, Demarion Witten, who was sitting in the school's visitor lot. When officers removed him from his car, they found a loaded handgun with an extended magazine under his seat. School and law enforcement authorities say they're not yet aware of his intentions, but it's believed to be a domestic incident. In a statement, Lorain County Sheriff Jack Hall saying this was a true case of if you see something, say something. Ohio lending a helping hand to those impacted by the Minneapolis shooting. The Franklin County Sheriff's Office confirming 2 of their crisis canines will be there to provide comfort and assistance wherever needed. The Hennepin County Sheriff's Office requested the support. These dogs are trained to provide comfort to people experiencing mental, physical, or psychological effects of trauma. And today, we're learning more about the 2 young victims of this week's Catholic school shooting. Family members identifying them as 10-year-old Harper Moisky and 8-year-old Fletcher Merkel. Moisky's parents say she was a bright, joyful child whose kindness and spirit touched everyone who knew her. While Merkel's father says he loved his family, friends, fishing, and cooking. His father delivering a powerful statement yesterday, wishing for the recovery of his own family and the families of the other victims.
While the hole in our hearts and lives will never be filled, I hope that in time our family can find healing. I pray that the other victim's family can find some semblance of the same. I'm hopeful that all the wounded are able to make a full recovery and return home to their families.
And we know all mass shootings are traumatic, but the psychological impact can take a deeper toll when the victims are so young. Children and adults may manifest the situation in their own ways.
Some people are numb to it and just think, okay, here's another one. We need to address this at the political level and otherwise. Others are concerned about safety and wondering, should I change what I'm doing, change where my kids attend school, change how we go about our daily lives and activities.
Experts say one thing to keep in mind when managing trauma is that progress is not linear. A child may seem to be recovering well, but a slight situation could prompt new intense fear or emotion. And right now, the National Alliance on Mental Health reports that 1 in 5 adults experience mental illness every year, and some are turning to AI for therapy. While that may offer quick relief, researchers are concerned about potential dangers. Our Javari Burnett goes in depth on the subject, speaking with one educator about why AI might not be the friend you think it is.
From chatbots offering advice.
The CDC is facing a setback after the White House fired its director less than a month into the job. Coming up, why the latest firing led to the resignations of several top officials. Happening today, a case that could provide the Trump administration with new and expansive power over the traditionally independent Federal Reserve will get its first court hearing. Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook has requested an emergency injunction to block President Donald Trump's attempt to fire her over allegations that she committed mortgage fraud. No president has ever fired a Fed governor in the agency's 112-year history. Meantime, chaos continues at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. President Donald Trump fired the CDC's director and several other top CDC officials resigned. It appears to be the result of the director clashing with the vaccine policies of Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Our Angie Gonzalez reports from Washington.
That I will support and defend the Constitution of the
The price you pay for shipping some goods will likely increase starting today. That's because the Trump administration is ending a rule which allowed packages worth less than $800 to enter the U.S. duty-free. Established e-commerce giants and small businesses have relied on this rule to ship low-cost goods, but the administration argues it's been used to evade tariffs and trade policies. A big weekend ahead as the Buckeyes kick off their season against Texas. Next in our Game Time Ohio, Marilee Melendez is talking with Steve Hellwagon of 24/7 Sports and breaking down all the major storylines ahead of the game. Today marks 20 years since Hurricane Katrina made landfall on the Gulf Coast, forever changing the lives of many. Still to come, we're taking a look back at the devastating storm and how it continues to shape the way we prepare for today's hurricanes. I'm Imani Payne, and here's your Spectrum News in 90. Former Columbus police officer Adam Coy files an appeal of his conviction. That's according to Franklin County court records. Coy was sentenced to life in prison in late July for the 2020 shooting death of Andre Hill. Coy will be eligible for parole in 15 years. Today marks the one-year anniversary of the deaths of former Blue Jackets player Johnny Gaudreau and his brother Matthew. They were killed after being hit by a car while biking near their parents' home in New Jersey while in town for their sister's wedding. The driver of that car, Sean Higgins, remains in jail and is being held on criminal charges awaiting trial. The Ohio State Buckeyes face #1 Texas tomorrow at Ohio Stadium with kickoff set at noon. Some tips to keep in mind include game day parking. It's available on a first-come, first-served basis. All parking lots and garages open at 5 a.m. Credit card or smartphone payment will only be accepted at all public parking locations. There's also a new drop-off point for fans taking the West Campus shuttle. And the Ohio State Highway Patrol says it wants all motorists to prioritize safety when traveling on the roadways this Labor Day weekend. The patrol says enforcement efforts will be focused on removing impaired drivers from the roads. The enforcement period begins tonight at midnight and will end on Monday at 11:59 p.m. And that's your Spectrum News in 90. It's that time of year again. Fields across Ohio are busy as farmers head into harvest season. From sunrise to sunset, farmers are working to bring in crops that will eventually end up on our plates. Our Cassidy Wilson takes us to the fields to show how farmers are getting ready.
Maybe in the lower ground where it's greener.
Another season we are currently in, hurricane season. Here's a look at some of the other costliest storms of all time, according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Harvey hit Texas in 2017 as a Category 4 storm. With adjusted cost, Harvey caused $160 billion in damages. In 2022, Ian killed 161 victims and caused nearly $120 billion in damage. Widespread destruction from Maria in 2017 cost $115 billion. It also killed nearly 3,000 people. Sandy caused $89 billion worth of damage in 2012. And today marks 20 years since Hurricane Katrina made landfall in New Orleans, forever changing the low-lying city. The storm remains one of the deadliest natural disasters in U.S. history, claiming more than 1,800 lives. Spectrum's Katie Streit looks back at the devastation Katrina left behind, particularly the catastrophic flooding, and how it continues to shape the way we prepare for hurricanes today.
When Hurricane Katrina made landfall,
the much anticipated first matchup of the season is just about here for the Buckeyes. Up next, our series with the university's AD continues as he outlines what he expects from this year's team. We are just a day away from the Ohio State Buckeyes' much anticipated season opener against the #1 ranked Texas Longhorns. Spectrum News anchor Marilee Melendez sat down one-on-one with OSU athletic director Ross Bjork to talk about his expectations for the 2025 season as the Buckeyes look to defend their national title.
There's just so much momentum coming into this.
You can watch Marilee's full interview with Bjork on our website, SpectrumNews1.com, and on the Spectrum News app available on all your favorite devices. Kickoff for tomorrow's game is scheduled for noon. Be sure to join us here on Spectrum News 1 after the game for the post-game report. Andy Baskin and Antonio Pittman will take a look at the highlights on the field as the Buckeyes season begins. You can watch the post-game report here on the air or on the Spectrum News app. It's available on all of your favorite devices. After the break, we're talking more football, how these high school seniors are taking their teamwork from the field to the parking lot, the way some paint is bringing them even closer together. Next. It's week 2 of the high school football season. The Olentangy Liberty Patriots take on Glenville tonight, and their senior class is feeling closer than ever. They're getting the chance to leave their mark in a creative and colorful way. Our Cassidy Wilson takes us to the parking lot where senior spirit is on full display.
It's the first thing that stands out.
And you can watch Olentangy Liberty take on Glenville tonight in our OHSAA Game of the Week. Our coverage begins at 7. You can watch the game here on air on Spectrum News 1 or on the Spectrum News app. It's available on all of your favorite devices. And that'll do it for another hour of news here on Spectrum News 1. But coming up after the break, we'll get a check of our top stories across the state, as well as your latest weather on the One's forecast. Stay with us.
It's 12 o'clock. This check of the time presented by Spectrum.
I'm Imani Payne, and here's your Spectrum News in 90. Former Columbus police officer Adam Coy files an appeal of his conviction. That's according to Franklin County court records. Coy was sentenced to life in prison in late July for the 2020 shooting death of Andre Hill. Coy will be eligible for parole in 15 years. Today marks the 1-year anniversary of the deaths of former Blue Jackets player Johnny Gaudreau and his brother Matthew. They were killed after being hit by a car while biking near their parents' home in New Jersey while in town for their sister's wedding. The driver of that car, Sean Higgins, remains in jail and is being held on criminal charges awaiting trial. The Ohio State Buckeyes face #1 Texas tomorrow at Ohio Stadium with kickoff set at noon. Some tips to keep in mind include game day parking. It's available on a first-come, first-served basis. All parking lots and garages open at 5 a.m. Credit card or smartphone payment will only be accepted at all public parking locations. There's also a new drop-off point for fans taking the West Campus shuttle. And the Ohio State Highway Patrol says it wants all motorists to prioritize safety when traveling on the roadways this Labor Day weekend. The patrol says enforcement efforts will be focused on removing impaired drivers from the roads. The enforcement period begins tonight at midnight and will end on Monday at 11:59 p.m. And that's your Spectrum News in 90.
I'm meteorologist Erin Carroll. Great weather